Hi everyone, welcome to the A.I.R podcast, where we live and breathe creativity in hopes to share it with everyone and impact everyone around us. So, for the very first episode of this series, we have a really special guest and a really close friend of mine, Christopher Hill, which is with me online. How are you today?
Very good, Winston. How are you?
I'm alright. How have you been so far?
I've been very good, thank you. Yeah, it's been an interesting couple of months, just finishing uni, and as you know, it's tough navigating that transitional period for a lot of people, but we soldier on, and good things are ahead.
Yeah, honestly, I bet. So a quick introduction of Christopher Hill. He studied acting in Falmouth University, is that correct?
That is correct. Bachelor of Arts in Acting.
All right. So yeah, thankfully I got that. I remember that. And I met Christopher Hill on loads of projects. He's done a lot of different roles in acting, but also he's done voices for a lot of animation projects in the university, and he also does voiceover. So from my understanding, you are now going from a student to go into full time acting and voice acting slash voiceover artist. Is that correct?
That is correct, yeah. It's a slow transition, as it is for all of us, but yeah, the plan is to delve into the world of both voice acting, so acting for acting characters in voiceovers, whether it be through games, animation, or audiobooks, or audio dramas, I should say. But also, voice acting is found in various different ways. Voiceover is everywhere these days, as a lot of you will probably know. It's in commercials, it's in radio, it's in documentaries, even in films, and in some cases, even theatre. You can find voiceover. So there's that side of it. But I'm also a stage actor myself. I've had the privilege of being involved in some brilliant stage productions at the university, and I hope to continue that very much because I have a deep passion for theatre. I love being in a theatre audience. I love participating, and it holds a special place in my heart, as it does for a lot of actors who I had the privilege of working with. And there's film as well, a couple of short pieces here and there. We're basically just trying to gain experience in as many different parts of this exciting industry as possible. And it is a big one, as we're finding out as we're going into it, that there's so much more that, I mean, obviously we dabbed on a lot of different things while at university, which is one of the great things that the course offers. But there's still a lot more to learn. So yeah.
Wow, honestly, that's really cool to hear, and I'm glad you really enjoyed and you done a lot. So a bit more for everyone here to see a bit of what Christopher Hill does in past projects that we worked on. Here we're gonna show you a few snippets of all the past projects.
No, nothing like that. It's safe. Don't worry.
I thought you said tomorrow was the next appointment.
Hey Sheldon, drop the phone. I'm going long.
Flo, what's going on? This says you don't need any more sessions.
Alright, yeah. So that's quite a bit of projects you've done, Christopher. How do you feel about doing all of those?
Uh, I feel very privileged to have been involved in such an eclectic mix of different projects. And there was obviously loads of more others. Either I was playing small parts or parts you didn't see, that I had the privilege of being with. And I think what really set me down that path was the intention of when I came to the uni and started doing the coursework and everything, was just to throw myself into as many different things as possible, because these opportunities, they don't come round often, as you know, and as everyone else who works in the arts knows, you have to seize the moment. It's the
That's honestly
the old
very fun.
mantra from the old mantra from Robin Williams in Dead Poets Society: seize the moment or seize the day. But yeah, I feel massively privileged. Sometimes I wonder how the hell did I juggle all of that stuff at once while studying for a full-time degree. But I did my best.
That's actually really amazing to hear. So working on all of these different like projects, different genres from like animation and all that, how do you feel like doing so much? Because people say you're like one of the most hardworking um, students or actors at the time. So yeah, what's it like working on all of these different things?
Well, they're very kind for saying that, first of all. It's a real privilege, and it's lovely to. I love working with creative people, particularly people who are so passionate about what they do, whatever that discipline might be, whether it be, film, animation, audio work, or theatre. It's lovely to be a part of that. And I feel, yeah, I'm definitely very proud of everything that's happened. I'm proud of the teams behind all those amazing projects. I'm proud of the people I've worked with. Um, Everyone puts a lot of heart and soul into creative activities, as you know, and you feed off of each other, you learn from each other, and it inspires you to be better. Definitely made some mistakes along the way, but that's all part of the process. As we all know, we're all students, we're all learning. Pardon me. And yeah, long story short, I'm proud, and I hope to continue that striving for participating in so many different things in the future.
Honestly, yeah, really like that. I mean, that's kind of how like we just explore what we like to do. And I think that's kind of like how I just got to meet like you in doing projects. It's like just doing stuff. Like I think I've met you doing projects when I was doing very different jobs, exploring different roles in films. And a bit on that was like more into I got to see how like you went from a lot of acting. Now you're doing very specifically like more audio slash voiceover voice acting. Was that a reason that because you experienced so much that you kind of really choose to like go into this, or what made you really want to go into voice acting so much more?
Um, well, part of the I'd always been curious about voiceover. I ever since I can remember, I've always grown up either doing impressions or voices of characters that I've loved from TV, film, stage, and audiobooks. And I'd always wanted to try that. And one of the great things about the course at Falmouth is that we have a voiceover module, and it touches on every single type of voiceover you can think of, from animation to gaming, audiobooks, commercials, documentaries. So basically, every week we would come in and explore a new type of voiceover. And some of us were really keen, really enthusiastic, like myself. Some not so much, because it's a weird thing hearing your voice through a pair of speakers for the first time, particularly if you're not used to hearing your own voice. Some people can get kind of, as I say, just sort of taken aback by how they sound, or because it's very different hearing your voice through speakers compared to where you hear it when you talk, because of the way your ears are placed. But yeah, to answer your question, the thing that got me more into voiceover was the playfulness and the fun experimentation and using your imagination to imagine, particularly with gaming and animation. When the animation or the rendering of the characters on a game is not complete, you have to visualize everything around you. You have to visualize how your character moves. Obviously, you can have prompts, and the director might have a very keen, specific idea, and you take that on board. But you just experiment, you play around, you mess around with different accents, you mess around with different emphasis points on the lines. You just have fun, and if you're in a studio with other voice actors, you play off of each other, and I've got to tell you, it's one of the funnest things in the world to have a really good cohort of actors to bounce off, because it gives you so much inspiration. So yeah, I enjoyed it so much that I decided to look more into it. And the intention now is to head further down that rabbit hole. And I've been talking to people who are working in the industry, in various parts of the creative industry where voiceover is involved, and hearing how that can play a role in their work and the avenues that it opens up for me as an actor to continuously experiment and find a way of bringing my own practice into that is hugely satisfying. It's exciting. It's slightly daunting at points, but that's just part of the fun of the industry. And yeah, I hope to continue to pursue that further.
That's actually a really interesting perspective, especially when like, I guess a lot of things that you learn from acting kind of has been brought over to this kind of side when you do voice acting, in terms of like playing that role. Anything like unique about it, like, cause I know actors have different trainings, right? Anything like, do they ever prepare you for voice acting, or is there something that you kind of had to figure it out, or just you meeting people to like learn about it, to practice your craft, I would say?
It's unique to everyone because everyone has a as you know, everyone has a unique voice. Everyone has a unique way of talking, of conveying emotion. They do give us they lay down some pretty good foundation rules or advice, I should say, that you can follow for it. So in terms of preparation, preparing for a role, reading a script, breaking down the text, so that by the time you get into a studio space to record, or whether that be a studio space that's run by the company you're working for or in a home studio, you're ready to go. You can do something very, very quick because, as you know, studio time these days is very expensive. So you have to come prepared for what you're doing. But also the key thing is always just to relax, to not feel pressure, to not feel tense, because it does affect your voice, it affects your performance, it affects your mindset, and that's so important in all types of acting, not only voiceover. So to answer your question, they give us some really good pointers. They also give us pointers on simple things like food and drink, things you should probably avoid, things you should maybe gravitate more towards. It's all subjective, and people can take that advice if they want to. I certainly take some of it. Some bits I prefer to leave. But the key thing is always just relaxation, and to come prepared and to come feeling confident that you're about to do something that, the company or the director or the group of people you're working for and working with will enjoy.
Was it something like it took a while for you to build up that kind of like confidence to like do this? Cause it's not for everyone. I feel like I'm generally a shyer person, but like seeing actors who are like somehow shy, but once they hit on stage or when they do their job, they just like snap like that. Like, how do you get to that kind of like framework of doing that? That's quite mind blowing to me.
Yeah, well, I tell you, it's totally normal to be either shy or nervous and stuff. I got to tell you, every time before I'm about to step on stage for a production of any kind, I always feel nervous, but that's natural. And in a sense, I always like to think of it as a sign that, look, you're only human. You're about to step on a stage in front of loads of people. And if you look at people who perform at massive venues in the West End or across on Broadway or massive venues around the world, of course you're bound to be nervous. If you're not nervous, then I would argue that maybe something's wrong, or you should. But part of what fuels that adrenaline on stage is the nerves. As long as you don't let that overtake and control you, then it's totally natural to feel normal. And then for me, I already know that I've prepared for a role, I'm ready, I'm comfortable, and as soon as I step on stage and I embody that character or that moment and I visualize the world, then everything falls into place. Because it's like muscle memory. Once you start, if you do sports or you do any sort of physical activity, if you've been practicing constantly, your body knows instinctively what to do once you start going. And then everything else falls into place and you get yourself into a rhythm. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. But yeah, if you're shy or you're nervous or you want to, and you're considering maybe exploring it a bit more, it's totally normal. You don't have to have like a tough a tough personality to be an actor. I mean, obviously you do in some respects, but yeah, it's totally natural, and I would argue that it never goes away.
Yeah, I guess everyone just has to train up for what you want to do, isn't it? And
Absolutely.
if you like it, you're gonna do anything you want to do to make sure you can keep doing it, I guess. So, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
So do you have a favorite? Do you still prefer a bit of acting now, or do you like really love all the voiceover stuff now? Has there been any impartiality, or do you just like want to do everything you can now?
I like to do a bit of everything. There's certainly things that I gravitate more towards. I would say the two bits that I love doing most of all is voiceover and stage. Those are the two areas that I've just loved, and I want to keep doing that as long as possible. So yeah, I'm not really more partial towards one specific type of acting or one specific avenue in the creative arts, because it's every single, what I have learned, the biggest takeaway is that something from every part of the creative arts can assist you in your own practice. So for example, when I was preparing for certain stage roles, or I was interested in physical theatre, I watched and I studied and I talked with some of the dance students. I went just to study movements and to get more comfortable moving in my own body when I'm playing quite physical characters, for example. I found it to be extremely helpful, and yeah, you just discover things along the way. But the key thing is obviously to put yourself forward for those things and not shut it out. So don't think, oh, I'm not studying that, it's of no interest to me, it's not relevant, I'll just ignore it. Just try it. I would always advocate for people to try things, or just watch things, or talk to people who are involved in those fields.
Inspiring for sure. Any cool stories you want to like share from like past projects? So, bit of Christopher Law, you've done like quite a lot of different things. I've seen you like as a monster. I've seen you like do voiceovers as like a detective, and like I just see you like pop up in like random films and stuff here and there. I was like, oh my gosh, you're there. You're like an Easter egg and stuff. Like, any cool stories you like to share, like that people may want to know that don't really understand behind the process of it? Because even though people will see probably like you guys are like in your own studio doing voices, or there's a lot of collaboration. There's a lot of things that people need to do to get involved with everyone. And I think just bouncing off all the creativity, like, it's quite inspiring, and it's quite motivating that you want to keep pushing on. Any stories you want to share with people?
Oh, well, thank you very much. But first of all, before I answer your question, I have to say that that the amount of collaboration and the versatility that's been demonstrated by you, Winston, is incredible, because we started working on projects side by side quite early on, didn't we? And yeah, I've seen you gravitate towards certain roles and then move on to another role, and yeah, your name is involved in so many different projects that either I've been involved in, or I've observed, or I know people who have been involved in. Like, they always say, oh yeah, Winston's working on this, and it, in a sense, if I may speak quite plainly, it puts a lot of people at ease knowing that you're involved, because they already know that the quality of the work that you produce is so good, and it's professional, and it's crafted with passion and dedication, and that's a wonderful thing that is so sought after these days in our industry, as you know. And moving forward, it really sets you up to for when you go into the industry and when you talk to people and you network and you try new things. And yeah, one of the great things as well is your passion to try new things. You know, I've seen you work with swashbuckling, for instance, the musket training, or the broadsword as well, I think it was. And there's a huge array of skills, but they're all transferable. They're all useful, and whether or not you decide to use them or not, it's entirely up to you. But it's wonderful to see. But to answer your question, there's been a lot of stories. There's been a lot of special moments. There's been a lot of really special things. I'd say one that really stands to mind was when I was in second year. We did a big sort of show halfway through the year, just after Christmas, and I was performing in a short stage production, and with my course mates, and we showed it to a sort of closed-in audience of people within the university, and for the first time, like, I got an email about a week or two later from a student who was working in film, and it was the first time I'd ever had someone email me and say, "Hey, I saw you in this production. We thought it was really, 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 really cool, and we loved what you did. We are currently working on a project ourselves, and we'd like you to be involved in it." And it's a small thing, but just that the first time you ever get someone say, "Oh, I went to see you in this thing," or "I saw your work in this, and now we want you to try out for this." It just felt like a special moment. And yeah, it's since then a lot of stuff has happened, and I felt a lot more confident in myself. I think that was the kickstarter, I think, of making me want to try and pursue more things and just put myself out there a bit more. Because I'd done a few sort of small things beforehand, but never anything that was too far out of my comfort zone. And I think that gets easier as you move through first year into second year, because in first year it's university. Everyone's a bit nervous. Everyone's a little bit shy, or may not want to venture out too far just yet because they're still testing the waters. I mean, I'm curious. What was that? What was the experience like for you? Did you immediately be like, "Yes, I've got to pursue this," or did you hold fire a little bit and just see what things you might want to take up?
So in terms of like my first experience when I came in, is it? Oh my gosh. When I first like wanted to start out, I think cause I joined a very new course, so nobody kind of knew we existed, so we were kind of always under the radar. But I think it was just because I came there with like I was the only one that's not from the UK at the time. So I was like this really wow, foreigner, someone very different. But I think that's the cool thing, cause like I had no baggage coming in, and I think you can attest to this. The people we've met working on projects, they're all just very lovely people in general, and the community built around it was just so nice in university. So I felt very encouraged, like just try whatever I can. I've had like some of the best experience meeting a lot of people, doing a lot of projects, and funny enough, that's kind of why I wanted to do this podcast, because everyone was so supportive. I just thought if we can share that kind of like communal motivation around, that would be something inspiring for anyone who ever wants to view this. And yeah, just keep trying. Had a bit of highs, had a bit of lows, but yeah, overall, first year, just try whatever you can, and you get to see what you really enjoy doing, and you just kind of keep doing it. Did that kind of feel the same for you, or like?
Yeah. In a sense, it was like, we were. I think you summed it up perfectly there. It's we arrive into a new set of circumstances, a new environment, and also, I mean, we had the additional challenge of we started university just after the COVID-19 pandemic was sort of easing up a bit. So I started in 2021, and you did too, didn't you? And we were sort of we were right at the tail end of restrictions slowly easing up a bit, and the staff at the university were starting to adjust things a bit more and be a bit more sort of out there. There was a bit more interaction. There was a lot more freedom of space. There was still precautions, and rightly so. But we were slowly you could feel a sense of like everyone was hungry to sort of get back out there again. Everyone was hungry to make things, to collaborate, to experiment, because it was so hard. And I've spoken to students who were in the year above me who joined uni just when, you know, the lockdowns and the restrictions were still happening. It was so difficult to collaborate in a way that felt energizing and felt productive and felt just satisfying, because, you know, that I think we all agree that there's nothing beats the face-to-face interaction with so many things, like working on a film crew, or being for me, being an actor, working with people in a space, creating theatre, getting to bounce off ideas. That the screen that you're separated by when you do it online, it just doesn't hit you the same way. And don't get me wrong, it's been an incredible resource, and the arts have done so well to both, I mean, survive, but also to use that technology in a way that promotes accessibility and just brings so much more of theatre to so many people who maybe they can't get to a live space, or they can't get to whatever places that the event's taking place. But yeah, to answer your question, it was a learning curve for sure. But that's how we all faced first year. We just learned to find our feet and to slowly branch out and meet people and understand what we were getting into, not only our degrees but also our place in the environment. So yeah, the technology that was being used to allow everyone to communicate, either through live streaming or from video calls and all of that stuff, was actually incredibly important in not only helping the arts survive through that period, but also allowing the arts to discover a new way to bring the work and the creative projects to an audience that couldn't get there at all into a live space. And it improved accessibility, inclusivity, and it's still going on today. Like, artists are finding ways to use this as a tool to reach more people and to tell more incredible stories. And in a world where sharing stories and having civilized discussions is so important, it really felt like that has, in a way, it's helped, despite of its initial reason for stemming up. But it was already happening beforehand. But I think that the COVID-19 pandemic, in a sense, either sped it up or just heightened it. And if there's anything we can take away from that period, which was, of course, incredibly difficult, it's that accessibility through online means has improved and it's skyrocketed. So yeah.
I think you got, honestly, because the fact that you do both voice and in-person acting, you kind of have like the best of both worlds, because
yeah, it's
you have your own studio now that you can do it online, and then if you want to ever go for an acting gig, you just go and travel for it.
Yeah, but that's another thing too, and we talked about that when we did the module, was that especially with voiceover, people who have either a home studio or a place they can go to with ease to record things, it saves companies a lot of time and money booking out studio spaces to bring actors into, but also it allows your work, as maybe you do voice acting for a company or you do it independently, it's created so much more freedom to bring that work and that discipline to more people. And yeah, it's...
So with that, like, honestly, moving forward, what's next for you? Or would you like to share, like, as anyone who's not familiar with this kind of like creative industry or in this line of work, what's the like next step that people do? Where do you go from there? Or like any ways you try and do to get like your next project? Because I think when we were speaking like way before, you mentioned like different platforms actors use to like showcase themselves. I forgot, it's called Spotlight, wasn't it?
Yeah. So Spotlight is a the big sort of casting platform that all big sort of drama schools and specific arts universities, including Falmouth University, are registered under. So the idea is that when you graduate or you've received proper acting or theatre training or any sort of mostly leaning towards those things, but also musical theatre and dance as well, I believe, then you are able to sign up for that. And that platform is how basically agencies find you. They see your work. It's like your CV, essentially. So you have all your credits listed, the work you've done, the places you've trained. You can put your show reel on there, your voice reel, self-tapes, headshots. And yeah, once you're on that platform, you are visible to so many different people, casting directors, agents, and also production crews as well. And it's also how you use that platform to find training facilities. So I've used that platform myself just to work out, okay, I want to get better at this, or I'd like some coaching on this, or I'd like some to work with people who are studying towards this thing. Where do I need to go? And I use the platform for that. And it also helps keep you up to date of the industry as well. So yeah, Spotlight's good for showcasing a few opportunities as well. But there are so many other casting platforms too. There's Mandy and a bunch of others I can't remember off the top of my head, but they are out there. And yeah, another place to look for opportunities, not only as an actor, but if you're a creator or you work in film, you work in TV, you work in animation, networking events are a brilliant thing. They're all over the place. They're rural and they're in cities. I don't know if you've been to one, Winston, but they hold some in Cornwall.
Yeah, it's honestly quite extensive. But is that have you been using that a lot when you've been finding your jobs like now?
Yeah, I've been going to networking events quite frequently, more so in the last year or two. Just meeting people and putting yourself out there, and coming across as a confidence just to talk to people. Sometimes that's the hardest barrier to overcome, is just walking up, sitting down with a person or going up to them and saying, hey, I'm so and so and I do this, what do you do? And then you get a conversation going, and sometimes you find that there's common ground between you two, or maybe you could help one another, or maybe they could give you some advice of who to talk to or who to go to or where to go. And that's definitely helped me a lot. So yeah, to answer your question, I'm networking, and I'm continuously looking for opportunities and to also train further. Because what university training really did for me is made me realize the specific avenues I'd like to pursue further. And there's only so much you can learn in a 3-year degree, which is designed to give you just a taste of everything. But that's the beauty of it, because without all those little tastes, you might not have known about a specific avenue. So yeah, and there are projects coming up. There is one thing that's coming out next month at the Theatre Royal in Plymouth. There's a play called The Last Shout, which is because this year is the anniversary of the RNLI, the lifeguard service. There's a play being developed down at Armata, and it will be shown at the Theatre Royal in Plymouth at the Drum Theatre, I believe the first full week of September. I strongly advise you to go and see that. It's a brilliant... I mean, the RNLI is fantastic, as anyone in the UK knows. They do incredible work. It's all run by volunteers, and it's quite close to me as well, because I live near the coast. So I felt a real privilege to be involved in that. And yeah, it was lovely to work on that.
That's cool. Do you just get feedback from everyone? Like when you first started, what was the biggest inspiration to you as you become an actor? And do you take it from films or theater, and has it been changing the more you've been seeing so much? How do you just keep staying on top of it? I wouldn't say evolving, because we're always growing and all that. But
Absolutely.
How do you just keep it fresh and just always make sure you love what you do every day?
It's a good question. I guess I care deeply about about theatre. I care deeply about voiceover and film and so many other, just the creative arts in general. I've always cared deeply about it, and I think it's just ingrained into who I am as a person. Because without it, I probably wouldn't be here right now. You know, there's when I studied drama in school, it was always just for fun. Like I never saw it as a way of a potential career path or something I would study at university, because and that's part of quite a big problem at the moment, is that people don't really see the creative arts as a career path, either because of where they are, or they think that, oh, I can't do that because I don't have access to these opportunities, or I'm based in this place. But there are opportunities out there if you look hard enough. They may not be big ones, but sometimes a small opportunity can lead to something bigger. But yeah, to answer your question, I always try and go into every single project remembering how lucky I am to have that opportunity and to be in a room with other like-minded people, and just to remember that and stay positive. It's a hard thing to do a lot of the time when you're stressed out or you're balancing a job alongside your creative discipline, and that's a lot of people do that these days. They have what they might call a regular job alongside the creative arts. But if you can try and balance that and not burn yourself out, then it will go a long way into shaping who you are as a person. But it might also inform you later down the line that maybe this isn't for you. And I've always accepted that I would never say put all your eggs in one basket and say this is exactly what I'm meant to do. And the university is really good at teaching us this. So we might write like a 2-year plan, for example, of what our path is going to be. Are we going to test these things? Are we going to try these things? If it doesn't work out, okay, what else are we going to look into? Or are we going to pivot? Are we going to change the thing entirely? So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. But the thing that motivates me is I love it. I love it, and I want to keep doing it as long as possible. And I always try and stay positive and remember how fortunate you are to have those opportunities.
Honestly, I think that's what makes it fun, because the reason why I wanted to do this is just to always see where people get inspired and where they keep moving. And I think everyone's different, and we just gotta accept that. And you, as anyone individually, can accept that you have to be different, and that's just how it is. And positively, it's okay, because we just want to do what we love, isn't that right?
We do, yeah. We want to do what we love, and we want to keep doing it. And I love what you said as well. You have to be yourself. Like, this isn't a one-size-fits-all type of industry, or this isn't a one type. Yeah, it's not a one-size-fits-all industry, and you have to find your own voice. You have to find what things make you unique, that people are going to want to go, I don't want all of these other things. I want this thing in particular. I mean, it helps you stand out. It makes you promote your brand, yourself as a creative. But also hopefully it makes you feel more comfortable and confident in yourself. There are so many wonderful people in this world, and the thing that makes them all wonderful is that they're all different. They have different ideas, they have different outlooks, they come from different places, and we all have stories, and so many of those stories should be told. You know, that's how we grow as not only as a species but as a collective, and hopefully it helps bring us together just a little bit better.
Obviously, as we're slowly reaching the end of this episode, is there anything that we can expect from you in the future? Slight Easter egg drop. Christopher Hill is actually one of the voice actors for a film project I did a while back. I think it was like a traumatic experience piece that we had. Do you remember that one?
I do, yeah. I remember that one.
Yeah, so it's gonna be a film, and obviously he's gonna be credited in it. We're gonna make it into a proper short film to bring it out. That's something that at least I can say on your behalf you're gonna be part of. But anything from you that we can expect to see in the future?
Yeah, I mean, well, the one thing I can definitely confirm of that is coming out soon is the production I mentioned that was happening in early September at the Theatre Royal in Plymouth. It's called The Last Shout, should say, and it's being played at the Drum Theatre in Plymouth the first full week of September. And yeah, if you can head over there to go see it, please do. Please show your support, not only for the production itself, but for the RNLI. They do incredible work. And I am working on a couple of things which are in the very early stages of production at the moment. So I don't want to jinx things, and I don't want to potentially bring, because they're organised by other people, so I don't want to shine too much of a big spotlight on those projects just yet. But I would just say keep your eyes and, in voice acting sense, your ears peeled for what's down the line. And I hope to keep just pursuing things. I am doing a lot of external networking and training at the moment because it's very early days, but more things are coming. Stay tuned.
I'm honestly gonna be really excited to just see your name pop up everywhere I go, or just hearing you when I'm listening to Spotify or something. But yeah, we've come to the end. Any last
We'll get there.
parting words of wisdom for you?
Well, I would never claim to have a lot of wisdom because, I mean, I'm young, but I would say if there's one thing I could just leave it on is that any aspiring creatives out there, I know I touched on it already about this thing, but please just try things, put yourself out there, and trust me, there are opportunities and you can do this. That's the last thing I will say, is that you can do this. Just work hard, stay true to yourself, be safe, trust your gut always, and yeah, and meet people like yourself as well, because they are out there. I promise you, they are.
Oh, thank you so
much. Got a bit. No worries. Yeah, got a little bit deep there, but hopefully.
No. Honestly, I think like on us being early in our stage of career, it's just nice to always be helpful and hopefully like all for the best. But yeah, thank you so much, Christopher, for taking the time. Thank you everyone here for tuning in. If you have any questions or comments, please drop a comment down below. And of course, anything for Christopher here, let us know. We'll follow up and we'll answer any questions you have. And yeah, thank you so much for joining today.
Thank you very much, everyone. Please be safe and take care.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.